Hi, bestie. Sorry that I missed yesterday. I don't have a good excuse. I was just lazy. But I missed you. And today, so that I can catch up a little bit on Vlogmas, I'm doing a Q&A. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. I'll put it on the screen. But I had you send in like fun, juicy Q&As. And I'm just going to pull up that story right now, and we're just gonna rapid fire Q&A because I feel like I haven't just sat down. Obviously, if you listen to the podcast, I feel like you're pretty up to date on my life, but I haven't sat down just like by myself in a while and talked to you not in podcast form. Do you know what I mean? So time for Q&A, and hopefully Ducky won't bark. He's kind of crazy right now, but I'm letting him get his craziness out because he'll then have to record when she gets home. And he, like, his monster hours are like 5 to 8, which is when we record. So I'm hoping he chills out a little bit right now because he hasn't taken a nap today. So I'm hoping that because of that, then he'll take a nap willingly in like an hour. Anyway, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and we're going to get into it. Best 1L advice, how to adjust to a new schedule / make friends. My best 1L advice, like 1L, by the way, if you're not familiar, 1L is your first year of law school, is a scary as hell time because it's just, everything's so different. And also, like, I got pretty good grades. Well, you know, I have a whole video on this, but I actually did terrible my freshman year of college. But then I started to get really good grades. I graduated with 3.9 GPA. And I was, like, used to doing well, but law school is weird because you are just surrounded by, like, so everyone there is smart, like, and it's kind of overwhelming and it feels scary, and like the reading is so intense and it's so hard to get, like, you're literally learning a new language the way you're reading. And I remember when I was at Suffolk, the career advisor woman, I believe, told me I should like practice and get ready for law school by reading like the Washington Post every day or like something like kind of dense, so I'd be ready for law school reading. And I was just like, whatever, like I'm such a reader, like I love reading, I've been a reader since I was little, but the reading is so dense. So if you're going into 1L, I really would recommend like reading some like dense, obviously chill out as much as you can this summer before law school, but reading some dense material just to get used to it, because I think like the hardest thing about 1L is just, adjusting and getting used to everything. My biggest pieces of advice don't really like pertain just to the first year of law school, but like in general, I would just give, if I could go back in time and like tell myself stuff that I wish I knew like my first day of law school. Number one, just do not compare yourself on anything. It doesn't matter if it's your friends, random people, do not compare yourself to anyone. It's so easy to feel like you're doing something wrong or you're not doing enough or you're doing too much in law school. I think there's like, I ran into two very specific types of people in law school, and there's ones that will say that they're doing so much and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like you had time to do this on the weekend because I'm doing so much. And then there's people who will claim they like never read and don't do anything. And either way, like, first of all, that's just not true. Second of all, like, if that is true, like everyone studies and learns differently, and you comparing yourself to how much or how little someone else is studying is just going to harm you and send you into a spiral. So don't compare yourself to how people are studying. Don't compare yourself to how much people are studying or how people are studying. I remember like my very close friends in law school, like we all had very different methods of studying, and I would hear how they were studying and I would panic because I'm like, I'm not studying like that. Like I would never outline until like right before the exam, and my way of studying was outlining, and that worked well for me. Like I made it through law school, got good grades. Well, my lowest grade was a B-. I got 1 B-, and the rest were B's and A's, and I did that from like my method. So my whole point being, just like, do you know it will work for you, and don't let other people influence you. And also know that it's so normal. Like my first week of law school, I like required reading for one of my classes was about imposter syndrome, because it's such an issue in law school, because you just, like I said, you're surrounded by so many smart people, and you're kind of like, how the hell am I here? And it's just like so normal to feel like you don't belong and you shouldn't be there. I remember when I went to law school, I was like positive that they got something wrong and they were gonna revoke my admittance. Like, and then when I passed the bar, I was like, they definitely got like, It's just so common to feel like you're not supposed to be there. So just know that your feelings are normal. And my like last like big piece of advice is something my mom told me and I say all the time, but when you feel like so stressed, you're going to get to points in law school where you feel so stressed and so overwhelmed you want to explode. And when you start feeling that way, take a break, like allow yourself a break, whether it's like an hour break to take a nap or the whole night off. Like even if you feel like you're going to get behind, which you probably will a little bit, it's so much better to let yourself get a little behind and take the mental reset that you need, because I had so many times, especially my first semester of law school, where I was trying to just power through all the reading and like literally like felt like I was going to explode, and I'd be sitting at the desk trying to do my reading for the next day and not taking anything in because I like literally was so like mentally like stressed I couldn't take anything in, and it would always lead to me not getting anything done, and then like ending the night me calling my mom sobbing. So my mom like would always tell me like, when you're in that mindset, you're going to take a break no matter what, whether it's like an intentional break where it's actually beneficial and you go and you sit down and you rest and relax, or a break where you just hit like a mental wall and freak the hell out, and then that's not beneficial. So allow yourself breaks, be easy on yourself. It's okay if you get a little behind every now and then, obviously, so try to stay on top of things, and yeah, it's gonna feel really overwhelming, but when all's scary, you'll get used to it, I promise, and you will. Like, if I can make it through law school, you can make it through law school, I promise. Has Prozac affected my libido at all? Well, to be quite frank, I really wouldn't know, because I have not, I've only had sex one time this year, so I don't really know where like my sex drive stands, because I've really been celibate. I can't believe I've only had sex one time this year, and it's a whole story, but it wasn't enjoyable sex, so I don't know if it's because this was like a past situationship and I was like, I shouldn't be having sex with them, so I don't know if it was because of that or because of my libido being down, but I've been unintentionally celibate. Like, last time I hooked up with anyone was in January, so I can't really speak on my libido, but I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think it's effective, but I've heard it can be affected, but hopefully soon I'll be able to report back with more conclusive studies. I don't know. If you get another tattoo, what will it be? I want to get another tattoo soon because I have Cleo and Luna tattooed on my arm, so I want to get like something for Ducky somewhere, and I thought it'd be really sweet to get a rubber duck, just like a little rubber duck outline, nothing crazy. I think that would be so cute to get for Ducky, but I don't know where I'm gonna put it. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Because like I'd love to put it, I cringe about this tattoo all the time. Hey. I cringe about this tattoo all the time, and I wish it wasn't there so I could put a duck here, but then I have my raised eyebrow emoji here. I'm kind of thinking somewhere like on my arm random, or even like on my hands. I don't know, but let me know if you have any fun ideas, because I don't know where I'm gonna get it yet. Cleo and Luna are 5. They turned 5 April 12th, which, that like makes me like, I don't like that they're getting older now. Like they're not babies anymore. They're officially, I guess, adult women. I mean, yeah, they eat adult cat food. They are adults, and that like really freaks me the hell out. They have just been with me through everything, and I don't know, like, I don't even want to think about when that day comes, when they are very old, because I've had cats growing up that I've been very close to and attached to as well, and then I adopted a kitty before them who was 12, who also, like, that was so hard putting her down, but, like, Cleo and Luna are my first own cats that I got when they were babies, and they've literally gone through law school, breakups, ending situationships, mental breakdowns, changing career paths, moving across the country. Like, they'll meet my kids, they'll be involved. I hope they're involved in my engagement. I don't know, it's crazy. Fave/least fave traits about yourself and how you're working on the least fave ones. I think my favorite trait about myself that I guess I pride myself in is that I genuinely know that I am a kind person. Like, I have my OCD like really focuses on me like stressing out that I am a bad person, but like I know in my heart that I am a good person, and I think I maybe overcompensate and try to be an extra good person because my OCD freaks me the hell out and I'm like, I'm evil. But I think, yeah, at the end of the day, like, people will say such like weird as hell things online about me and create all these narratives, but I do know like I have always just been a kind person, and I will always be a kind person and like a caring person. But I think, I don't know, I don't want to say like I'm too kind or caring, but I do think that like kind of screws me over sometimes because I've found myself in so many situations where I've been like way too forgiving or way too understanding, and then like it allows people to walk all over me. So I think there's like a happy medium. So I guess like I don't think my least favorite trait about myself is my kindness, but I do think I need to work on like holding my ground better. I've literally never been able to hold my ground, or like I'm not good at sticking up for myself or like asserting myself. I know like I went to law school and was going to be a lawyer, but I can't assert myself like at all, or really like I have a lot of trouble sticking up for myself, which that's probably my least favorite thing about myself. I think another least favorite thing about myself that like is hard to admit but true is I definitely do have an issue, and I think like this is more common than people talk about, but I definitely have an issue with like feeling like jealousy, like and like envy, like when I really compare myself to other people all the time. I think that's really normal in like the world of social media. It's just so easy to, but I like can't, like when I feel jealous of someone, or I feel, I don't know, like I have trouble feeling happy for them. And that's something I really want to work on, because I like that's not good energy to put out, is not feeling happy for someone when you're jealous of them. But I don't know, I saw this thing, the Wizard Liz, I love her, on YouTube, and she said this whole thing about like envy, and the reason that you feel jealous of people and like unhappy for them is because you feel like you can't have what they have. So just like understand like you can have what they have too. And I don't know, I'm trying to work on that. And like also just comparing like timelines and like other people, for example, like in relationships or like hitting like career milestones, and like when I feel like, honestly, like I feel like I've been in my flop era for quite some time now, and I keep like trying to get out, and I feel like I can't fully. I have a lot of trouble like feeling happy for other people, which is really bad. It's just the truth. I feel like it's kind of normal, but I'd like to work on that more, because I should just be happy for other people. What area of LA do you like living wise? Oh my god, I'm so happy that Celia and I moved to the west side. We are in Venice now, and when I moved here, I moved to West Hollywood to follow Celia there because she had to be there for her job. And I really was moving to LA for no reason other than I was super depressed. I hated New York, and my best friend in the whole world was here. So I followed her to West Hollywood, and that was just, I mean, that was a terrible time. Like, I didn't realize how negative West Hollywood was affecting me until after, but when I look back, I got like weird. I don't want to say like I got like totally weird as hell, but I got so in my own head, and I feel like it's really easy when you're surrounded by a bunch of people who care so much about their image and so much who they're friends with and so much what they're doing and what they're invited to and what they're not invited to start feeling that way about yourself. And I think if you've been following me this past year, I've been really struggling with feeling like a loser, which all of a sudden went away when I moved to Venice. And I really think like I had to put a new battery in my camera, but what I was saying is I really think a huge part of why I stopped feeling like a loser was I changed my environment, and I feel so happy in Venice and so at peace, like for the first time. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I went through like a weird era ever since like senior year of college. I started really, or maybe even junior or sophomore year. Celia talked about this in like a podcast, but we got so focused on trying to be cool. And I think that like pressure to be cool, I just like kept feeling that more and more. And I said this in the podcast last week, but I feel like moving to Venice like healed not like my inner child. I feel like my inner child, well, I don't know if my inner child, I think my inner child's fine. But I feel like it healed like what's really, I think, damaged in me is my inner like teenager. And I feel like I've like healed her moving here and just I don't know. Sorry if you can hear Ducky squeaking in the background. There's just not much I can do about it right now. At least he's not barking, but I do. Oh, okay. Basically, my whole point being, I feel like I now have hit a point, and maybe it's just like maturing too, but I no longer like care about being cool, and I feel like my like values have changed so much. I think I was so focused on like being like the most like more followers, more likes. Like I want to be like, obviously I still would like to be a millionaire, but like I was so focused on that and like just seeking and looking for things in the wrong places. Like even my situationship I had with Mr. Dwayne, like current me wouldn't do that. Like it just like that's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I was just so focused on like image, and now I'm not, and now I feel like I just like, people get pissed at me all the time about like how I'm living. I got like everyone was really angry. I posted a 5 a.m. morning routine and I got like really angry comments on Reels, but like that used to really bother me, and I think I went through an entire year where I was really struggling of feeling like I shouldn't be enjoying my life because everyone like thought I shouldn't be, and then I felt like a loser because I was comparing myself to everyone. This is a really long answer for Venice over West Hollywood, but it just really brought a lot of stuff up for me. The whole point, this is getting far too rambly, sorry, but I'm rambling here. My whole point that I'm getting at is I now just feel at peace. Like I wake up in the morning. Some people think I'm a loser, okay? Like but I am so happy with my life and so thankful with it, and I feel so at peace. I wake up in the morning and, well, there's not sun right now because it's June gloom, but you take Ducky on a walk, I hang out with my kitties, I go to Pilates. Like I just am realizing like I live such a beautiful life, and I've cut out people who make me feel like I'm not living a beautiful life, because I definitely had friends when I was living in West Hollywood that made me feel otherwise and implemented like really bad habits into my that was a really long answer for I like living at the beach because I feel like myself again. So yeah, that's my answer to that. What's your favorite thing about being an influencer? I think my favorite thing really is, and this is gonna sound cheesy, but I swear to God, when I started doing TikTok in 2020, I was so lonely. I was going through like a really tough breakup. I was in my first year of law school. The pandemic hit. I was home. And there's always been this part of me that's just felt like low. I don't know. I've always felt kind of lonely. And TikTok, like you guys filled that hole for me. And it's been like, I've been whole since. Like when I talk about when I started learning to be my own best friend, I realized that correlated so much with when I got all of you guys as best friends, and I really I'm just so thankful for the community I have of supportive besties, and I just never feel alone anymore. Like it's crazy how it's brought to me, like between platforms, over 1 million people that are like, we're all just there for each other, and like if I'm going through something, I can pick up my phone and talk about it, and someone will be there and be like, oh, like I don't know. It's just, I really feel like I have an amazing support system, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so thankful for every single one of you. My ideal life, like 5 to 10 years from now. Okay. So my life plan, I've always wanted to be pregnant at 27, and I'm turning 27 in a few months. So to be honest, my life goal in 5 years, like I've been like ready for a baby since the day I was born. I just want to be a mom so badly. So I think in 5 to 10 years, I don't know, I hope that I'm like married. I of course get so nervous all the time that I'm never going to meet the right person and I'm going to be alone forever. So I hope in 5 years I'm married with a 4 or 5 year old child, living in like a cozy house by the beach, maybe 2 kids. I think I want 2 kids, 3 max. I'd like to still be doing this, but I hope by then it's shifted to completely just YouTube and my podcast because TikTok's become such a toxic place for me, and I'm trying to like post there still, obviously, but I would love to be like having a really successful podcast, really successful YouTube channel, like feeling sure of myself, in love, married or engaged at least, and with kids, and yeah, just like settling down. I don't know, I'm so ready to settle down. So I really hope, because I get so scared that like I'm never gonna meet my person and it freaks me out. So I don't know, but yeah, that's where I hope, not to make it all about a man, but I really hope I'm settled down by then with kids. Do I miss anything about New York? Literally, like, no. Aside from my friends, New York just left like a bad taste in my mouth, and I was so in such a bad place when I left. And it's just like, I wanted so bad to be like a New York girl that I tried for so long to convince myself that I was, but I'm just not. Like, I like living a comfortable life, and you can't really live comfortably in New York. Like, obviously I was living in like a luxury apartment, so I'm not saying I was living uncomfortably by any means. I was living a very comfortable lifestyle there, but I just mean in the sense of like the energy there. Everyone's so stressed, everyone's like running around, and everyone's trying to do like the next big thing, and like, I don't know, it was like, it's like a very big hustle culture, and I just love, like, eventually I don't even want to live in LA. I'd love to stay like in Southern California, but I just am realizing like I'm not as much of a city girl as I thought I was, because I think I wanted to be a city girl for so long because I grew up in a small town, and so I felt like city is like the cool big thing, but I really just realized I'm not like a city girl. Like, I like being able to drive to the store, go to the beach, go outside and walk, and like I love Venice now because like I know my neighbors. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I don't really miss anything about New York. Not even the bagels. I love Noah's Bagels. Bestie, do you have any tips for BV? Send help. Oh my god, I get BV all the time. It's the worst. And my friend told me to get boric acid and it would clear it up. And I like literally, whenever I start feeling a little bit off now, just stick a little boric acid up there, and it does, like, it's unbelievable. So get boric acid. Don't consume it, because for the longest time I thought you were supposed to like take it as a pill. Thank God I didn't do that, but you're supposed to like stick it up. I don't know, it works really well. Like, whenever anything's off now, I just take a little boric, well, no, I don't take it, I stick a little boric acid up, and it's great. Really, really helps. Do I have any regrets about not becoming a lawyer? Not at all. Like, I have no regrets about not becoming a lawyer. I have no regrets about going to law school. I think I really struggled with how negative everyone took it. Not even in my personal life, but online. I've talked about this before, like, many times, like how negatively everyone took it when I said I wasn't going to be a lawyer. But it's just not something I want to do, and I'm in a really lucky, privileged position that I can just say like, oh, I don't want to be a lawyer, so I'm not going to do it, and that's completely thanks to you watching this. But yeah, I don't really regret. I mean, I have a pretty awesome life, and I think I felt so like just like guilty and weird for so long about it, that, and like ashamed that I just wasn't enjoying my life. But now I'm just like, this is awesome. I'm so grateful for it every single day. And I just don't really have, I mean, I guess, no, I don't have any regrets. I guess it just sucks that the way people react to it, but I have to remind myself, like, no one in my personal life, like my family, my friends, they all support me and think what I'm doing is great. So yeah, that's where I'm at there. I don't have any regrets about it. Bestie help, at what point is it time to give up on a boy that you are always on and off with? In general, if you're on and off with the man, you've got to drop them, because it's never going to stop being on and off. And I know that, like, it literally gets addicting, like, because every single time you're on again, it feels so good, and when you're off, you're so sad, and when you're on, you're so relieved. But I've been there, and it's never gonna, at this point, if it's like an on and off thing, there's like a 0.0001% chance, and you're just keeping yourself from like meeting your actual person. So I would say, like, if you're even thinking about when you should end things, you should just end things. Celia and I met in fourth grade jazz band. She went to a different elementary school than I did, but the like jazz band, like all the elementary schools met for like jazz band at night. So we met in jazz band. She played the flute, I played the alto sax, and then in middle school, all the elementary schools like went to the same school. So then we had a bunch of classes together. And in my last vlog, if you saw, we were talking about it, like I thought Celia was so cool, and I guess she thought I was so cool, and I wanted to be her friend so bad, and she wanted to be my friend so bad, and then we became very close, and the rest is history. Like, we literally have grown up together. It's crazy. I've known her since she was 9. She's known me since she was, like, it's weird. Like, Celia was saying this, like, but, like, we've known each other since we were actually children. Like, that's so strange. How to be okay with not having a boyfriend? I don't know. I mean, so, I've been single for almost 5 years, and I'm genuinely not okay with it. I'm used to it now, but I've like never been a person. I'm such a relationship person. I hate being single, but I think just like eventually, I don't know. This could be like your last week being. I saw something on TikTok that it was like this could be your last week being single, or like your last summer being single, or like your last month being like. You never know when you're gonna meet the right person, and I really truly do believe that everyone has a person out there. So. And I need to give this advice to myself too, but just try to enjoy like the time you have with yourself, because at one point in your life you're just gonna be with someone for hopefully the rest of your life. So assuming you don't get divorced, divorce rates are getting higher. I hope I don't get divorced. I had a palm reader tell me I was gonna get divorced many times when I was in fourth grade, but she also told my friend she was from a different planet, so I don't think she was that legit. But anyway, I think you just need to like, whenever I feel like, for example, like I'm hyper fixating on like a guy too much or something, I just put all of my energy into something else. So I'm like, I need to take a step back because it's not good. Like I like find a new hobby or find something else like I enjoy doing with myself. Last year was Mod Podging. This year it's been Pilates and like walking and like going to the beach, just like doing things that make me feel good. And I think just like focusing on yourself. When I feel sad about being single too, I just read. And I think the reason I like to read thrillers so much is because many times in thrillers, like they're having relationship problems, and then it makes me feel like, oh, like thank God, that's not me. So I don't know. I like to read when I feel sad about being single, and also know like you're gonna meet someone eventually. I mean, that's what I tell myself, at least. I hope so. Just appreciate the time you have with yourself, I guess. Getting my degree, but it's not what I want to do. How do I not feel like a failure? I really feel you there, because I felt like such a failure when I mean, I was just talking about that when I like announced I wasn't going to be a lawyer, and then on top of that everyone was like, you're a failure. And then I was like, damn. But it's so okay to change your mind, and obviously like take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying like, oh, it's like just nothing to like go $160,000 in debt. Like I took out $160,000 in loans for law school. Like that's not a small thing. So I don't want to say like it's just like nothing and just like whatever, but like also just like be easy on yourself and kind to yourself. It's okay to change your mind, and it's crazy that we have to decide like what we want to do for the rest of our lives when we're in our 20s, or like even like teens. Like I don't know, like you kind of, I mean, you have to decide a major your sophomore year, and then if you decide to go directly on to grad school, you're only like, I started law school when I was 21. Like that's just like, how the hell was I supposed to realize, oh, actually, like, it's so okay to change your mind. And I feel like nothing has to be set in stone. I feel like there's such that weird mindset, like once you say you're going to do something, you have to do it, or you're like failing. But I think it's actually very brave to decide that you don't want to do what you said you're going to do and what you're pursuing, and like figuring something out, because life is just too short to be scared of like being perceived as like a failure or a loser, and like doing something that you realize you don't want to do. It's very okay to change your mind. Very normal to change your mind. And it's like, your 20s are a weird as hell time. How are you supposed to know what you're doing? I don't know what I'm doing still. Does your OCD increase when you're hungover? If so, how do you manage the anxiety after? Oh my God, yes, it does. Drinking makes me so much more anxious, which in turn makes me have so much more OCD, and I'm cringing about everything and hyperfixating on everything. Honestly, like there's not much, like when I feel that way, I guess I try to force myself, like if I can, like to go for a walk, or like actually usually I can't do that because I can't move. Celia and I dipped in the ocean last week when we were feeling that way. Um, I don't know. You just have to go easy on yourself. Like, really, drinking is not good for anxiety, but of course, it's fun to drink. So I don't really know. I don't have any great advice other than, like, I'll, like, watch, like, interrogations on YouTube or something. Something that, like, really distracts me and gets me out of my head, or, like, read a really good book or listen to a really good audiobook if I feel like I can't read. And I think that helps because then I don't know, it like gets me out of, just try to do something that gets you out of your head, because nothing like is actually wrong. And even if there is something that's wrong, like even if you did embarrass yourself, like nothing you can do about it now. And embarrassment and cringing is a choice, which I always choose. What's my routine for getting out of a slump? Okay, so Ducky got me out of like another slump, and I think it, like, for me, I just realized to get out of a slump, I need to be waking up early. I get up at 5 almost every day now, 6 at the latest usually, and I got up today at like 9, so I'm like totally like lying, but no, I mean every day except for some reason Wednesdays are the day I choose to sleep in. But waking up early and setting like a really good morning routine has gotten me out of such a slump, because it sets the tone for the rest of my day being so productive. So like, for example, my current morning routine, and I posted a video of it, but I wake up, I take Ducky out, then I go to Pilates first thing, then I go for a walk and get a coffee, and then once I get home, it's like I sit down and it's time to start my day, and I just feel like I've got so much energy. And also having a really good night routine, which I'm still kind of working on perfecting my night routine, but I think just having a good routine to start your day and end your day, like, literally forces you out of a slump. You have no choice. And if you need to make a checklist of everything to like force yourself to do it, do that. No shame in that. Really helps. But yeah, I guess that's my tip, is just make a routine. Like, if you don't have a routine, make one, or change your routine, or yeah, and like force yourself to hold yourself accountable. Or even like find something. For example, like I have to go to Pilates. I signed up for it. I'll get $25 fee if I don't go. Like, I have to go. So like I don't know, like get something that holds you accountable. And yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, I've got to record for the podcast now. But great chatting with you. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm sorry I was not here yesterday. Very, very sorry. I'm sorry this is getting up so late, but I love you.